Today we're gonna be playing a brand new Pokemon game called Pokemon Tourmaline or Tourmaline. I don't know. The game features an original story, new characters in a brand new region, the return of many old characters, a regional Pokedex of over 386 Pokemon, new regional forms for Pokemon from the generations 5 through 8 games. There is no Mega Evolution, but they have this weird alpha Pokemon thing where you can fight Mega Evolutions. There's 4 new status conditions, 2 new weather types, and a brand new type called the Echo type that's designed to counter fairies and ghost type Pokemon, and so much more. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to like list up all the features because oh my god, it becomes a little bit too much. The game takes place years after Groudon and Kyogre have fought in the Hoenn region in a neighboring region called the Isho region. Now there's been an influx of new species of Pokemon, new types of Pokemon, and an even more strange phenomenon, and so of course it's our job to research them. But while that's going on, there's an evil team in the shadows getting ready to start a war. If you all enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button for the boys, greatly appreciated, as well as subscribe, hit the bell, and be sure to sign up over on SacredAlmighty.com so you can get notified whenever videos go live. Let's go. Now we start off the game how you normally would start a Pokemon game, but Professor Burst tells us the name of the new region, which I just said was the Isho region, and we choose the hardcore mode instead of the normal mode because, you know, I like a little challenge. Surely I won't regret it, you know? But anyway, we got our running shoes from our mother, and she tells us that our friend named Jace, who is looking for us because there's a random girl giving away Pokemon in town. It turns out that girl is May from the Hoenn games, who is now a Pokemon researcher, and she tells us she's here in Isho region to learn all about the new discoveries being reported and how she was trying to meet one of her father's colleagues in Umbertown. But she's not there, unfortunately, and Jace is not trying to hear none of that at all. He don't really care. He should get his Pokemon and go, which he does. He gets his Pokemon, then immediately leaves. But afterwards, she gives us the Pokedex, and she gives us 3 Pokemon to choose from. And the starter Pokemon are Chespin, Tepig, and Poplio. I'ma be honest, it's not that good of a selection, but you know, it is what it is. I choose Tepig because there aren't that many good fire-type Pokemon in these ROM hacks and fan games, unfortunately, as opposed to the other ones where I can just get a Magikarp and get a Gyarados or a Vaporeon and get, you know, be good. I don't need Poplio. Or I can catch a Bulbasaur randomly or any other good grass type. I just feel like the fire types are so misrepresented. But anyway, now that we have our starter Pokemon, it's time for our rival battle, which of course, you know who wins the fight. It's little old me, you know? Afterwards, we get told about a gym in Rosita Town, and now our official journey begins. I spent the first couple of minutes trying to find new Pokemon to catch, and I'ma be honest with you, the pickings in these routes are horrible, dude. Oh my god. But anyway, I gotta make do, so I catch Ak the Rattata just to have something on the team. Plus, Rattata's really strong early game, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, while we're exploring, we see these guys dressed in gray, and they're blocking the path, so that means we gotta go another way. And so we make it to Xanthos City, and I wanted to explore a bit, and I found a whole bunch of side quests. Out of nowhere, there's this random trainer in black with a Rotom, and I get bodied by this dude, y'all. But then after getting beaten by him, May comes out of nowhere. Mind you, I don't know what she did. I think she surfed up. I don't know. But she gives us a shiny charm, which is really good for a side quest that's in the same city. But I don't get a shiny Pokemon until like the end of this goddamn video. So I'm gonna be honest with you, listen. I tried. Now that that's done and over with, those 2 guys from before are gone from the route, and it turns out they stole a part from the generator that powers the Xanthos City. And of course, we have to be the ones to follow them in the forest, and we do. We end up finding one of the grunts, and he says he's a part of a team called Team Genesis. And after beating him, which by the way, really hard fight, we find out that he doesn't have the part we're looking for, but we have to keep going further, deeper into the back of the route to go and find where the hell we're looking for. Also, the battles in these games, I'm gonna say it, a little bit too hard. Even the trainer battles got some oomph to them. Like, I can't even use items in battle or nothing. I thought it was gonna be like boss battles, but no, it's every single battle. Help me. My fault, y'all. I was over here trauma dumping. Anyway, we get cut from one of the berry farmers in town, and we begin our gym challenge, and thank God the gym is a bug type gym, because obviously I have a fire type starter Pokemon, so you know I'm already busted, you know what I'm saying? And so now it's time for our first gym battle versus gym leader Arthur. Now off rip, This is a spam Amber Fest. I take down the Beedrill easily, but it's that Shuckle. That Shuckle, bro. Oh my God. This thing gets a rollout off and kills everything on my team. So now it's time to go back to the grind. I get the Old Rod and pick up Willie the Magikarp and Woobatty the Woobat and Tizo the Sparrow, just to fill in space in the team for grind fodder, and I get everybody up to level 16. It's rematch time, baby. One Aerial Ace from Tizo kills the Beedrill, and I basically spam Aerial Ace on the Shuckle until it kills Tizo with the rollout and finish it with Hyper Fang from Ack. And then in comes his ace, the Pinsir, who has Rock Tomb for flying type, so unfortunately Woobatty can only do like one gust before he goes down. But then Peepski comes in and he misses the Rock Tomb, and we're able to take it out with Ember, and that's my first gym badge, and now we can use Cut finally. And then afterwards he tells us to head to Amber City for our next gym badge, but now we can head to the power station. But on the way I pick up Drake the Nidoran, and when we get to the power plant we catch Lil Uzi the Grimer and Shockwave the Elekid. But then we finally meet up with the Team Genesis guys we were supposed to find, and we get ambushed by 2 guys, and obviously Peepski evolves after we beat the grunts because they weren't gonna be hard at all. Come on, it's me we're talking about. And we get the machine part. We give it back to the dude, and I got everybody up to level 20 before continuing the grind. You know me. But anyway, now that we're out of the power plant, we get to this desert-like ravine-ish area, and there's nothing but trainers here. But that's great for grinding, so like, who really cares? But afterwards we get to Amber City, which doesn't have a lot outside of the gym badge and the lady that gives you Roar, and we can't get the bike just yet, so unfortunately this place is kind of useless outside of the gym, so let's do the gym. Psych, it turns out Jace is here and he wants to do a rival battle with us, and after putting belt to ass, we get Rock Smash from him. So now we can do the gym. And now it's in the battle Gym Leader Terra, who specializes in ground type Pokemon, which is kind of scary for me, but it's okay. She leads off with a Hippopotas, and I lead off with Willie, of course. She yawns me and I immediately switch out. You're not finna get me, it's not happening. I get a crit Aerial Ace on Tizo and Hippopotas is out of here. But then comes Stunfisk, who uses a new move called Dust Devil and takes down Shockwave when I switch out into him, and Tizo goes down too, unfortunately, and Willie goes down as well. Ack comes in and defeats him easily, and out comes her Gligar, but thankfully a couple Hyper Fangs put her in a spliff, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the second gym badge. You know what I'm saying? Now to the west is a little desert region, but we get stopped by a Pokemon ranger telling us a couple has gone missing and that we have to go find them, which I'm gonna be honest, you're an adult, you're a hired professional, why does the kid have to go? You know, it's fine. Hey, listen, hey, thankfully, it doesn't take too long to find them, but we get attacked by a Steelix, and I catch it, thankfully. I name it Solid Snake, and after that, we get the bike voucher from them, and I immediately go get the bike. It's already written, I got it. There's also a house on the route down after the desert, and the guy inside gives you an Eevee with the Soothe Bell on it, which is really cool. And it turns out Amber City loops back around to the first gym town, and we have another Jace battle, but he has the exact same team from before. The Ladybug just evolved, but after beating him he tells us to go to Cobalt City where the next gym is, and how we have to go through Quartz Cave to do it. But we need Flash, unfortunately, but thankfully May has it. Now I'm gonna say it right here, I'm not really a fan of catching a bunch of unnecessary Pokemon in ROM hacks and fan games, to be honest, especially when you use them as ways to distribute like HMs and whatnot. It just doesn't make sense to me personally, and on top of that I have to teach my Pokemon these HM moves for them to be used. That's just not cool to me personally, but it's okay, it might be a coding issue, you never know. But I am still not a fan of using catching Pokemon as TM and or HM like trademarks. I don't think I need to catch 20 Pokemon to be able to use Cut, or 40 Pokemon to be able to use Strength. That's just not like come on, I'm not doing that. I'm barely gonna use any of these Pokemon anyway. But anyway, we meet a kid named Vert, who is the male playable character of the game, who needs our help finding a missing person, but we have to fight a horde of Houndooms, and when we finally find the guy, we have to fight 2 Mega Houndooms that are level 26, which end up being easier than I thought. but for the sake of this, y'all are insane for doing this. Anyway, I choose to explore the tower a bit in the back of the place, and after doing a bunch of bike puzzles, I hate those puzzles by the way, we find a Volcarona. Now when you play this game, you'll find Pokemon that have like alpha boosts, where like certain stats or all their stats get boost, and unfortunately you have to catch them and or beat them if you want them. But thankfully after what seems like forever, we're able to catch it, and now we're off to Cobalt City. While we're in Quartz Cave, we see that same kid in black that beats us to a pulp. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't think you're supposed to win these battles. I think this guy is just here to terrorize you whenever you see him. I battled this guy maybe about like 10 times, and it's such an annoying battle, bro. And this guy is an asshole, because when he beats us, he asks us to throw one Pokemon down in the well to heal it and to leave the rest in the cave. And I refuse to do both of them, and I get healed by a random flashing light, but eventually after some hard battles, I make it to Cobalt City, thank God. But hey, guess what y'all? Turns out the gym leader is not even in her gym, and she's somewhere in town, so it's our turn to go look for her. And so we find our way to the town's hotel, and we find the gym leader on the 3rd floor, but first, we find a mysterious door that leads to like an alternative version, like an alternate universe of the hotel with hella ghost Pokemon. While we do this, I catch an Enra, the Duskull, who by the way is a shiny Pokemon. Shout out to my G-Ski. And we have to find these purple crystals and then hit the base of the hotel in order to get a Spiritomb with the same boost that the Volcarona got. And thankfully it was easier to catch him with just one Dust Ball than it was Volcarona with like 50 different Pokeballs. But anyway, I level up and catch some Pokemon so we can have enough for May's HM requirement, which by the way, trash. And now it's time to take on Gym Leader Myrtle. She leads off with Ludicolo and I lead off with Peepski, completely thinking that I was gonna be able to do something, but I just sat there for a minute and then I switched into Woobatty. But guess what, y'all? This thing has Icy Wind, so I T-Wave him with Shockwave and just spam Body Slam and switch right into Wooly to beat him. Next comes Dragalge, which in this game is Grass Water or Grass Dragon. I'm not really sure. I didn't get a chance to like catch this or see the typing of it. So I try to get lucky with some Body Slams for a Paralysis, which doesn't work, and I miss every single attack when I could have beaten her. So the first attempt unfortunately just doesn't go my way, but it's okay because I bring out Tizo the Pharaoh and Vizzle the Volcarona, and we will win. Tizo 2 shots to Ludicolo. Vizzle takes down the other Ludicolo. She brings out Tropius, which Vizzle is able to burn before he goes down to it. I send out Peepski to finish it off, which now leaves Dragalge. So I'm just gonna spam T-Wave and Body Slam, and Wooly takes it out with an Ice Fang, and that, y'all, is my 3rd gym badge. And then afterwards, she gives us the Tri-Pass, which will help us get on the boat in town to get to the next town. Now that we finished everything we gotta do in the town, we head to Turquoise City, where Jace is waiting for us, but for no good reason at all, because it turns out Team Genesis made the entire city board up and are putting people into a warehouse, and Jace wants us to help him find out what's going on, and of course, main character Nick gets it done. When we get deeper inside the warehouse, we meet who I assume is the boss of Team Genesis, who is terrorizing 2 people, but one of them is actually very important. One of them is a Devon Corp worker who has plans of a new B-Ball, and obviously the boss of an evil organization would want this really big important Pokeball that's being made by a humongous tech company, and so of course he tries to take it. Now after defeating the grunts, I'm pretty sure he's just like, you know what, screw this, I'm the boss, I'm right here. So he sends his guys to take the Devon Corp worker and he just kidnaps him. And he has us battle him instead, which I don't mind because he leads off with a Cryogonal, which lets me know this guy is utter garbage because this thing is not good at all. He goes down, and next comes a Deoxys of all things. I don't know where he got this from, but okay. But thankfully, I got a Nenra here who just bodies this thing. And lastly, Rotom, which is easy pickings for me. And after beating him, Brendan comes out of nowhere and forces Team Genesis to retreat. He tells the Pokemon Ranger who is escorting the Devon Corp guy that he might have found out where Team Genesis' actual base is, and then proceeds to leave us to our gym challenge. They got me running around the countryside, y'all, and past the daycare just to get to the next gym in Mindaro City. But I take advantage to catch a ton of Pokemon in between, of course, you know me. But of course, guess what, y'all? The gym leader is not here again. Yay! She's at the gardens, so I'm going there now. And when we get inside, we see Verd, who wants to do the maze with us because we get like a prize, which ends up being the HM Fly. And now it's time to battle the gym leader, Ira, the ice type Pokemon specialist. She sends out a Cryogonal, so again, I know this is gonna be light work, but I was wrong. and she sets up a light screen and was able to take down Peepski with the help from Hail. She sends out a new Pokemon called Cyclant or Seaclant, I'm not sure, and I'm horrified, bruh. Why? Because he Focus Blast his Ack, and I'm in shock because I never hit Focus Blast at all. But let the CPU do it, and all of a sudden it's 100% accuracy. Shockwave comes out and gets Earth powered, but is able to take it down thankfully. And then here comes my longtime enemy, Mamoswine, who takes down Shockwave unfortunately. I send out Willy and get rock slided to death, and I lose the battle. As you can see, I'm having a great time with this game. The hardcore mode is a little bit, no, but it's okay because you remember I was catching all those Pokemon in the route before. I bring out Run the Rapidash and Weasel the Volcarona to guarantee the W, and I do exactly that, y'all. Outside of Mamoswine, these two-shot everything on her team. And that's our 4th gym badge, everyone. She then tells us to take the ski lift up top the mountain. And let me tell you, Mount Shiro is huge, bro. There's so many pathways to go down and a temple up there that I can't go through right now, but I will. We also catch Puma to swing up. And now this is where I encounter the most issues with the game. You see, unfortunately, I encountered a glitch where I was supposed to get the HM for Thaw, and for some reason it didn't show up in my inventory at all. And so when you get up there to Mount Shiro, unfortunately I just was stuck for a very long time. But thanks to my boy Ryzen, I was able to find Thaw in the bag and proceed to Scarlet Town. Unfortunately, there really isn't much to do in Scarlet Town, so I move on to the next route to the right, and after a long and dumb route of battles and a glitch with one of the bikers for some reason, we find this old man getting attacked by Team Genesis grunts. Now after we battle and scare them away, he tells us his name and that he works for a company called the Kendomo Corporation in Pitch Black City, which just so happens to be where the next gym is. Not only is it where the next gym is, but the next gym is actually on the new Echo typing. Now they tell us to bring a Ice type and a Psychic type Pokemon, and I do exactly that. And now it's gonna take on Gym Leader Cade, who leads off with a Swoobat. I send out Puma, I get hit with a Heat Wave and survive, chat, and survive. One Ice Skate body Swoobat, and Willy comes in and bodies the other Swoobat easily. Next comes Slaybell, who goes immediately for the double team, and I do miss the Ice Fang unfortunately, and unfortunately it's not enough to take out Slaybell, but Vaporeon comes in and takes him out for us. Exploud comes out and I get lucky, and he misses his attack, and Manny takes him down with 2 close combats. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the Rhythm badge, and I can now fly thankfully. Now that that's done, it's time to go into the Kendama Corporation HQ, or Kendama Corporation HQ, I don't know how you say it. And let me just say, this place is Silphco on steroids, bro. I don't like this place at all. I definitely had a terrible experience going through this entire thing, but I did it, and now it's gonna take on the Team Genesis boss again. There was too many cards I had to collect. You have to get 3 cards in order to get access to the doors, and the amount of battles in this was definitely a little bit too much, especially because it felt weird because the levels were off. It felt like I was over level but I was doing no damage, but they were under level and they were doing all the damage in the world. I don't know if it's a balancing thing, or maybe the Pokemon are just better IVs and EVs, who knows. And thankfully I made it to the top. But first, when you get access to the S card, you can take an alternate path that will lead you to the bottom of the headquarters, where you'll meet the same scientist old guy you saw coming here, and he'll tell you about his life's work and how the creatures inside the capsules he sees as his kids because he can't have any. And eventually he'll give you the Master Ball, which I have no idea who this could be for, but if you ask me, it might be for a shape-shifting Psychic type Pokemon, who knows. But guess what, y'all? It turns out there's not just one boss of Team Genesis, but 2, and they both have Deoxyses. What's going on? But anyway, we walk in on a conversation between the boss of Team Genesis and the CEO of Kendama, who apparently they were working together at one point, but the moment the league found out about where they're getting their high-tech technology from, they started looking at the Kendama Corporation CEO, and he had to snake Team Genesis and leave them for dead. She was going to kidnap the CEO. And so we try to stop her, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this battle was easy. She sends out a Nose Pass bodied, Wheezing body, and here comes Deoxys D. And like I said, thankfully we have a Nenra with us. just to hex this thing away. And last is her Spirit Tomb, who gets outlived and least seated by a jump left, and you all know how this stall is. When we finally beat her, a random bright light comes and teleports us out of the place, but first it tells us to get help AB Labs. We wake up to Jace and another Pokemon Ranger who tells us to focus on our gym challenge and to visit the Pokemon Ranger HQ in Maroon City through the Scarlet Woods after telling them the story of what happened. And after some time, we finally make it to Maroon City and head straight to the gym because there's nothing else to do in Maroon City because the Pokemon Ranger meeting is still happening, so we can't do much there. And so now it's time to fight Gym Leader Nicholas or Niklaus. I'm not really sure. The spelling is kind of off for me. Now, this guy focuses on Steel-type Pokemon, and so of course he sends out a Bastiodon. I send out Manny the Primate and hit it with a close combat, and it one-shots. Next is Cop Roger, who survives a close combat randomly. I have no idea how he did that, but okay. But he's able to take down Manny, and here comes Vaporeon to save the day with 3 water pulses, and that's all it takes. His next Pokemon was a Skarmory, who took down Vaporeon easily, but I sent out Gotti the Growlithe that I caught on my way over here and destroyed it with a Fire Fang. Like, come on, y'all. It's a Skarmory. It's not nothing too crazy. And his last 2 Pokemon were Bronzongs, which get bodied by Gotti as well. I kind of was hoping for like a new Steel type Pokemon, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's our 6th gym badge. And not only is that our 6th gym badge, but it's also the end of the Pokemon Tourmaline demo. That's right, y'all. I know y'all hate me for doing this, but the game is not completed. The last time I touched this game, it had maybe about like 2 or 3 gym badges, and this is the most recent update that fixes a whole bunch of stuff from the last update, but then also like obviously adds its own new flair. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the game is great. I was really looking forward to this game being a lot different than what it ended up being. It's one of my most anticipated games of the year, actually. And there's a lot of things that I do like and a lot of things that I don't. Kind of like how you have to catch Pokemon in order to get the HMs, especially when a variety of Pokemon aren't really that good, nor are like the rates kind of good either. I ended up finding a whole bunch of Fearos and Sparrows in my routes for some reason. Maybe that was just a Nick Luck thing, I'm not sure. But man, can you please add more bird type Pokemon instead of Fearow or Sparrow, please? I beg of you. The regional variants were really cool. The Super Boss Pokemon were really nice as well. The gym challenges, the puzzles, and I guess the characters themselves are really good, really well designed, all that good stuff. I'm gonna be honest, the Team Genesis stuff for me kind of fall flat. Obviously, it's still a little bit too early to like call it, but as for the most part, it being a 6 gym demo, I thought I'd have at least a lot more of like Team Genesis. Maybe instead of it just being like grunts or whatever, you maybe add like some admins here and there, kind of like how if we go to the power station, there's an admin there instead of you being jumped by 2 fodder guys, and maybe add like 2 or 3 mandatory grunt battles before him. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, the grunt battles were kind of like whatever. And then when you get to the Kendama HQ, it's kind of weird because here's 5 characters that you have to know, these 5 sisters or something like that, and I'm like, these guys don't really, they like, who cares about these people, you know? It's hard to care about some of these characters, you know? Jace is also doesn't really have that much of a personality to him, besides him just being like impatient and very bratful, and you kind of rarely see him, especially when like his interactions kind of fall in line with the Team Genesis interactions. So not only do you get to play with your rival, but you also have to fight the more important characters, you know? The vert side missions are kind of cool. The random kid in black by the 7th gym badge should be like named at this point. I don't know why he's not named, but I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe he's the boss of Team Genesis, I'm not sure. And maybe this will age, who knows? Who knows at this point? But I had a great time. Let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about this game. If you have played it, if you haven't, it's the first time you're hearing this. And maybe when this game does update, I will come back and redo the playthrough and or add on to it if nothing changes, to BH. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. Leave a like and a comment, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye, love you guys.